So I'm going to call the meeting to order. Can I have a motion to open the special public board meeting?
Motion.
Motion by whom?
Commissioner Lynn.
I'm sorry?
Commissioner Lynn.
Motion made by Commissioner Lynn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by whom? You have to say your name.
Ronald McFadden.
All right. So we have a motion by Commissioner Lynn, second by Ronald. All in favor? Now, every time we vote, when you favor, just say your name. Muriel. Cheryl.
And Andy.
Okay.
Vernon.
Okay. Ronald and Joshua, are you in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the mission.
All right.
So the meeting is officially opened.
You want to say present now?
Oh, I'm present. This is Jeanette.
Hi, Jeanette.
Hi, Jeanette.
Okay. The meeting is opened. We have two items. I want to start with. Let's see what we called it in the agenda: the inclement weather recovery plan adjustment. Before we vote on that, these are both they were both set up as consent agenda items. But what I want to do is I want to have Allison summarize what we're voting on, because there has been a little bit of confusion about that, and then we'll vote on that, and then we'll turn our attention to the 21st Century Annual Report. So, Allison, I'd like to turn it over to you.
Okay. So that makes sense. This is Allison Perkins-Cohen. I'm Chief of Staff for City Schools. So tonight we were asking the board to vote on a revision to the calendar for the school calendar with regards to the inclement weather days. We had initially identified that President's Day would be the first makeup day for inclement weather days. We are actually going to change the order in which we would do makeup days, and so that the first makeup day would be on Monday, June 17th. And then at this point in the year, we've had 3 snow days, so we need to make up 3 inclement weather days. We would make those up on Monday, June 17th, Tuesday, June 18th, and Wednesday, June 19th. If we were to close for additional days, those first additional days would be made up on June 20th and June 21st. And then the next days, if we need to make them up, would be made up during spring break on April 15th and April 16th. So this will allow us, because of where we are in the winter with 3 days, we are under the state law, we're able to make up 5 days after June 15th, and so we still have 2 more days within those 5 days after June 15th that we can utilize, and if we need days beyond that, we can use 2 days we had already identified within spring break if there's significant weather days between now and spring break in April.
Okay. So with this change, this would allow us to announce that the schools will be closed for President's Day next Monday.
That's right. Schools and central office would be closed for President's Day on Monday.
Okay. And I believe part of what you said in the memo is that you're already pretty aware that you would anticipate pretty low attendance because of people's travel plans.
That's right. One of the challenges of opening on a national holiday is that people make plans for those long weekends, and so we would expect there'd be low attendance both on the part of students and staff, teachers. So we'd have a lot of need for subs, and we would have challenges within the central office as well in terms of staffing some of our key functions.
Okay.
You have the same. This is Vernon Reed.
Go ahead, Vernon.
You have the same challenges in April, right?
We would have the same challenges in April. Again, we have 2 more inclement weather days we could have between now and April before we would need to take days from spring break. And so, if there is enough, we're getting farther along in the winter season, and so we're hoping that 2 more days we would have enough days to make up those days between now and then. But if we have a 3rd or a 4th day where we need to close schools between now and spring break, then yes, we would have to use the spring break days. The challenge is that with the governor's executive order, it requires us we cannot start until after Labor Day, and we due to the original governor's order, we had to finish by June 15th. Last year, the state legislature allowed school districts to take use 5 days after June 15th as makeup days. So we are utilizing those, but that's the limit. We can only use 5 days after June 15th, so we have to have other days we could use to make up if we need more than 5 inclement weather days.
Thank you.
Michelle, did you just sign in?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we have everybody here. Any other questions for Allison? Okay, hearing no other questions, can I have a motion to approve the revised inclement weather plan for inclement weather recovery days, which would allow the schools to close on President's Day?
Vernon Reed, so moved.
Motion from Vernon. Do I have a second?
Johnette, second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Vernon, a second by Johnette. Now we're going to vote, and when you vote, just say your name. Cheryl?
Muriel. Michelle.
Okay.
Johnette.
Andy. Ronald. Joshua.
Vernon, you good?
Yeah, Vernon, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. Motion passes 8-0 with 2 absent. The next item is the 21st Century Annual Report. And I know it might have been confusing to some people why we had to include this in the special agenda, but there's a state law that sets out the timing for these annual reports. So since we have it, we wanted to comply with the law. So before we would have had a presentation at the board meeting. I'm going to assume that everybody reviewed that. And so
Yeah.
Hello?
No, I just said yes, Michelle.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to start by asking if anybody had any questions for Allison and Dr. Santelises on the plan. Okay, Allison, I had a more of a comment than a question. I'm prepared to vote to approve the annual report, but I would like to ask if at an upcoming meeting, maybe not the next February meeting because we've now had to move so much of the deferred information to that next meeting, but possibly the first one in March, it might be worth having a public presentation to give the update. Because I know that some members of the public, at least one person submitted questions to the board about the reference to some of the challenges with rec and parks. And I know that with the MOU and the joint use agreement, and I know that we're really far along with that. So I just think it would be worth making a presentation in the general public and allowing for some discussion of that.
Sure, we'd be happy to do that. We can certainly bring it to either that next agenda or to a future agenda if that one's too packed, but make sure that we give time for the public and the board to hear the presentation.
Yeah, I think it would be good. Having reviewed the more detailed report, I know that there's some good answers to some of those questions, and they should be discussed. I'm concerned about the February 26th agenda because, as people might expect, the things that we aren't covering, which is virtually everything, we're going to defer that to February 26th. So, Allison, let's target early March.
That sounds great.
Any other questions for Allison?
I don't have. This is Michelle. I don't think this looks exactly like what we already knew, and there weren't any changes, right?
No.
Allison?
And we already received this information before, right, Allison?
It went to Ops Committee, so it went to Operations Committee earlier, and there was some updates, but for the most part, it's what you saw in Operations Committee.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
So, yeah, Cheryl, I do agree with you. I think we should have that presentation in a public meeting.
Okay, we
And I
can
think
schedule.
the presentation you had teed up was pretty tight. So I think you don't have to do anything other than that.
Right.
Okay, if there's no other questions, can I have a motion to approve the 21st Century Annual Report?
Okay, I so move. Michelle.
By Michelle. Do I have a second?
Johnette,
Muriel.
second.
Jeanette, second. All in favor, just say your name.
Michelle.
Muriel,
Andy.
Michelle, Andy,
Ronald.
Ronald,
Johnette.
Joshua.
Jeanette, Joshua,
Vernon Reed.
Vernon, and Cheryl. Motion passes 8-0 with 2 absent. So with that, I'd like to note the upcoming meetings. The next Operations Committee meeting is Tuesday, February 19th at 10 o'clock in the boardroom. The Policy Committee meets later that afternoon, Tuesday, February 19th at 3:30. The next PCAB meeting is Thursday, February 21st at 6:30, also in the boardroom. The next time the full board will meet will be an executive session at 3 o'clock on Tuesday the 26th. And then the next public board meeting will be Tuesday, February 26th. And just a heads up, whatever we were already going to talk about in the 26th, now we're going to talk about a lot more. And the next Teaching and Learning Committee meeting will be Tuesday, March 5th at 3:30. Any other questions for the good of the whole?
Commissioner Kashani.
Yes, sir. Ronald?
I'm not sure if we could. I don't know. But does the CEO have any updates for us?
Not necessarily. Were there any that you were anticipating, Commissioner?
No, I'm just used to hearing the CEO's updates in our meeting.
Well, I'm glad that you missed them. No, I'll have one. I'll definitely have a fuller one when we return. But no, sir, I can wait until the 26th.
Yeah, we weren't treating this as a regular meeting. We were treating it as a special meeting to just deal with the 2 agenda items that were timely that had to be passed today.
Can I answer a question?
Yes, sir. Vernon?
The School Safety Task Force, when will they be finished, their process?
That is a question for
the BTU.
Ms. English at the BTU.
Okay.
The BTU is really spearheading that work.
Okay. But no idea?
No, but Christian can find out for you.
Okay.
Christian, can you do that?
Yes.
That's terrific.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anything else? Okay. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I move. Michelle.
Moved by Michelle. Do I have a second?
Second, Commissioner Lynn.
Second by Commissioner Lynn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Who's your son?
Ronald.
Muriel.
Andy. Joshua.
Okay, I could actually tell the tone of your voice, and this is Cheryl. So the motion to adjourn passes 8-0 with 2 absent. The meeting is officially adjourned. Thanks everybody for making the time.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
everybody. Bye bye.